Before I start the first game, I just want to make sure that this is actually live and properly live. Okay. Week 3, Day 4 of the Ultimate Access Football League. I actually did not change this. Welcome to Thursday night football. All right, I'm currently getting this all set up. It looks like there are no Canadian teams playing tonight. It's going to be all American tonight. So if you're a Canadian fan and you want to watch some Canadian football, that is not happening tonight because our next Canadian game is going to be tomorrow. It's all American today. Today's matchups is we have Cincinnati versus Chicago, Dallas versus St. Louis, Detroit versus Pittsburgh, and Boston versus New York. I think those four matchups are going to be pretty good. You got some good football tonight. It's going to be mid-tier football, I want to call it, because it's the third best day of every week to watch football, with the best being on Saturdays. So without further ado, let's get started. The first team that's playing tonight is Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Royals, taking on the who was it? Chicago? The Chicago Lakehawks. I'm going to try to get it started as quickly as I can. And it's in Chicago, Illinois.
This is a reminder. Take vitamins. If you finish this, just let me know you're done. Otherwise, I'll remind you in the morning.
Okay, it's no wind, but it's cloudy.
This is a reminder.
All right. All right, welcome to it is week 3 still, day 4 of 5 for the UAFL. As tomorrow is going to be the last day of week 3, as we get ready to transition to week 4, which is our final week in that is 100% in November. It is also Thanksgiving that week. I don't remember who plays on Thanksgiving though. Who's playing Thanksgiving football? Okay, so Thanksgiving. Chicago, Detroit, Orlando, Calgary, Atlanta, Oklahoma City, Las Vegas, and Denver are all playing on Thanksgiving night. Um, all right, it's going to be. All right, let's talk about both of these teams real quick on where they are in the standings. Both of these teams are doing very well so far this season. For the Cincinnati Royals, they are currently in second place in the AFC North with a 2-0 record, as they are unbeaten right now. However, so is Chicago. Both of these teams are in second in their divisions, and they're both 2-0. This is a battle between teams. One is going to walk away unbeaten, and the other is going to be 2-1. It is an excellent showdown between two very talented teams. I'm going to check on where they are in the AFC and NFC leaderboards, respectively, for both teams, since both of these teams are not in the same conference. For for Cincinnati, they are the 5 seed, which means they are the best wildcard team in the league, and Detroit Chicago scores a touchdown to take the early lead here in the first quarter. Anyways, as I was saying, the Cincinnati Royals are currently the best wildcard team in the AFC, not the league. As that title, well, actually, I don't know. It could be either of these two teams being the best, because Chicago is also in 5th in their conference. Both of these teams are in 5th place, or the 5 seed in their conferences. So this is going to be a good game. However, let's see what Cincinnati does on this drive to respond to that touchdown that the Lakehawks have scored. You know, if both of these teams were to make it to the Access Cup, I'd be completely fine with it. Because they're both very talented. They both deserve it. And, I mean, there's a lot of teams that deserve to go to... Well, I don't know if they would make it to the Access Cup final. There's a bunch of talented teams in this league. And there's a bunch of untalented teams in this league as well. It is first down for Cincinnati after a really good run. This is why they're 2-0. Both of these teams come from the Death Division from their respective conferences, but with both the AFC North and the NFC North being the best divisions you can possibly see in this league. And I believe we have 2 AFC North versus NFC North matchups today. We have another one coming later, which it's going to be Detroit versus Pittsburgh. That's going to be the 3rd matchup for tonight. All the fans are chanting Chicago since the Chicago Lakehawks are home this week. It's 4th down, and the Royals are going to kick a oh, this is a deep one. From 55 yards out, it is good. That's a good field goal by Cole. It's going to be 3 points for the Royals. I've been pinged in the XAFL. Why is that? Everyone, any other things you want to see? Every team gets blackout, whiteout jerseys. Like both blackout and whiteout, or the teams choose? Okay. It's going to be a hold. So there's a holding call against the Lakehawks, if I remember correctly. There's a flag on the field. So the Chicago has the possession of the ball once again. It's going to be a 3-yard gain here. It's going to be a penalty. There's a penalty on the field. It's going to be against the Lakehawks. This one is coming back, and it's 3rd and 15. And it's going to be 2nd and inches. The Lakehawks are used to be one of the teams that never made the playoffs back in the XAFL days. And it seems that has completely changed. It is now a team that has a very good talented players in the league. Here's Rogers, and that further emphasizes my statement. Here's Griffin. There's a flag on the defense. Wow. That's going to make it 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. That's incomplete. Should have been picked off, I believe, but Williams just couldn't get the ball. It's now 3rd down. Let's see what they do on 3rd and goal. All right, it's going to be fourth down after they decided to run, but they just couldn't get past the Cincinnati defense. And there's going to be a field goal. And there it is, folks. The Lakehawks have picked off the ball. Or I'm kidding. No, they didn't. I'm thinking of yesterday when Baltimore played. I'm sorry. Still a little mad at the fact that the Paladins played like awfully bad last week. Here's a really deep pass, incomplete. I think the Lakehawks are going to want to score on this drive, but let's see if they do. Or not the Lakehawks, the... Let's see if the Lakehawks or the Cincinnati Royals can find a way to score on this drive. Andrews to Ogle. Is that how you pronounce his name? It's going to be first down for Cincinnati. Here's Andrews to Peters. It's caught, and he's gone. That's a touchdown for Cincinnati, and the Royals will score. This is why the Royals are such a good team, because they can manage to get they manage to dodge tackles, and they can end up scoring on you. I won't be surprised if the Royals make the playoffs this season. Same with the Cleveland Coyotes and same with the Pittsburgh Ironhawks. This is why the AFC North is one of the best divisions in this league. It's the second best division in this league, in my opinion. The only reason they're being held back is because of Baltimore and Toronto, as both of those teams currently have losing record. Oh, he almost broke free. But he's later stopped, and it's going to be going to start on the 38. It's 1st and 10. Here's Griffin. He's going to throw it. Incomplete. going to see who's playing Thursday night football right now. Because the NFL is also live right now. It is the Bills versus the Texans. That's a good game. Texans are currently leading the Bills. If that continues, the Bills could get their 4th loss of the season. Texans are currently 5-5. All right, here's a field goal to take the lead for Chicago. And they got it. All right, here's Peters. First down for Cincinnati. It's a huge gain. And that's going to be a 1-yard loss. And it's now 3rd down. Here's Andrews. First down for Cincinnati. Last time these two teams played against each other in the NFL, or in the actual NFL versions of these two teams, the Chicago Bears beat the Cincinnati Royals 47-42. It was a crazy scoring game. When was that? It's not telling me what date this was in, because I don't know if this was this season. This happened this year, actually. It was November 2nd of this year that they last played on. And Cincinnati scores another touchdown. Hat trick for OV. What? So it is almost halftime, and so far this has been a exciting game as both teams have scored numerous touchdowns. I think this should be like a if anything, this should be a division. This should be like both of these teams. I think should be in the divisional round. Or maybe at least the wild card. Because look at the talent. I won't be surprised if some of these teams do end up going to the AFC or NFC championship game. These two teams truly deserve their success, but these two teams can't walk away with a 3-0 record. Only one can. That's another first down for the Lakehawks. And they have now used all their timeouts. And it's incomplete. There's a flag against the the Royals for a hold. It's going to be 1st and goal again, this time from the 5-yard line. And the Lakehawks get a gain here, a 4-yard gain. Or it looks like it's actually 3. They're going to mark him short of the for a touchdown. It's 2nd and goal, and they're going to spike it because there's only 9 seconds left. And the kick is no good. Copeland misses a 19-yard field goal attempt. How do you miss that? And now Cincinnati is going to get it out of their own end zone. And that's going to do it for the first half of this ball game. So far, the Royals are up ahead as the AFC North continues to strive against the NFC North for this season's edition. Or I guess I could say it's this year's edition of the AFC North versus NFC North showdown. And now Peters is going to return it as the Royals will get the ball again. They're taking a while to hike the ball, and it's going to be a 3-yard loss. It's a first down for the Royals again. Cincinnati is showing the world what they can do on offense. And it seems like Cincinnati could take over in this entire game if things continue the way they're going. I mean, this is not bad for a team. Let's take a friendly reminder that Cincinnati has been in an Axis Bowl before. They haven't been in an Axis Cup, but the Lakehawks have been in an Axis Cup before, and they lost that. But that was back when we had 16 teams, and half the teams that we had then were not participating in the league. Let me go show you guys real quick because I have that server still. If we take a look here, I don't even have access to that actually. Yeah, I had some funky divisions in the UAFL back then. I'm glad that we have 8 divisions again instead of 6. We used to have 6 divisions of 6, and we couldn't put all the teams that we wanted to together. Now we have. It's another sack. 3rd and goal from the 26-yard line. And here's the kick. It's good, and the Royals will score a field goal. It's 20-13. Oh, I actually got information on the games that we used to do. All right. I didn't even realize I had that put in there. Oh, so I just now found out that Orlando made it to the championship game. And they lost it again. So Orlando has missed out on a title in the title game 3 times, twice in the XAFL and once in the UAFL. The Rockets are still struggling I guess the Rockets were still struggling. I don't even know how Orlando even made it to the Access Cup in season 2. I kind of forgot that happened. Why did that happen? They should have never went. I honestly don't know how that happened. It must be a Cinderella story or something. I could take a look at that actually. So, let me look at that. I have the UAFL Season 2 playoffs from when we had 36 teams. This is UAFL Season 3 if you want to count it. And back then, Washington was actually in the playoffs. Nowadays, I guess Washington fell off really hard too. The Barons were. Washington ended up winning against New York. Don't ask why Washington was in the AFC. I had no idea what I was doing. Like, and look at the other conference. Cincinnati made a pretty deep run last season in the UAFL as well, it looks like. As the Royals were actually made it to the divisional round before losing to Detroit. And as for Chicago, I don't think Chicago made the playoffs. Oh no, they did. Chicago did make the playoffs, I think. Or was that season 3? Or I guess it was it was a season that got canceled, so we don't count it. We'll call it season 2.5 because it got canceled midway through. Because the XAFL ties were broken, I think. Oh, here's a catch. It is quarter number 4 now in this game. Oh, it's intercepted by the Royals. And they're going to stop Chicago from scoring altogether. Critical interception by Bailey. The Royals are surely going to make a deep run in the playoffs this season. There's a sack. Lewis is going to lose 5 yards here. All right, and that is going to do it for this drive. Cincinnati's going to punt. It's from the 10-yard line as Chicago's defense manages to step up. And let's see what happens on this drive. Chicago's going to start on Cincinnati's side of the field. All right, it's going to be 3rd and 2. And it's going to be 4th down. And the Lake Hawks, let's see what they decide to do here. It is going to be returned to the 11-yard line. They're in the same situation as the last drive. So let's... It was actually... Oh, no, that wasn't a punt. I wasn't paying attention. It looks like they started on the 1-yard line then. Maybe. I wasn't paying attention. But the Royals do get a first down. Why was he throwing to a man that was out of bounds? I'm not sure if that's a bug or not, but it happens quite often where the AI decides to throw the ball to somebody that's out of bounds. He was out of bounds. Clearly, that was the most out of bounds person he's thrown to, or anyone has thrown to. I think that's just weird to me. Andrews with the run. It's first down for the Royals again on a 3rd down conversion. Clock is at 5 minutes. Chicago needs to get this stopped soon or they're going to run out of time. Here's Andrews. It's only 1-yard gain here. Oh boy. I just found out that kids are trying to come up with Morse code for Roblox so that they can bypass the check. Oh, there's a fumble. It's picked up by Chicago. No way. They got the stop in a creative way. They're going to have the ball on the Cincinnati 34. I wonder. I think Roblox should put if they're going to keep the AI, at least add like a quick chat feature or a safe chat. That used to be a feature in Roblox. You can just pick predetermined words that developers set so that the game could be functional. But I don't play Roblox, so I don't really care much about it. But that's just saying what they should do. Touchdown Chicago. The Lakehawks tie this one. All right. Cincinnati's going to get the ball just before. Oh, they're still going. It's now going to be on the 32-yard line. Here is Andrews to Peters. That's a first down for Cincinnati. Keep in mind that Chicago, both of these teams are undefeated. The winner will be 3-0 and stay undefeated, and the loser is going to be 2-1. Still in playoff range even if you lose. So but that doesn't mean you should continue to lose, because obviously you want to have the better record. Someone bit into my lollipop. I opened this lollipop and it's like half of the top of it's gone. Half of it's gone, guys. Stupid manufacturers. Who did this? I really don't care. 3rd and 9. Cincinnati is in field goal range, so they can tie this one with a field goal. And they got the first down. This game will continue. The Lakehawks are out of timeouts, so if the Chicago does get the ball back, they cannot turn over the ball. There's 1 minute left in this game, and he's not going to get through. It's 3rd down. Clock continues to run. And the Royals will get a first. If you're Cincinnati, actually, I would kick a field goal. There's less time available left in this game than there is on the play clock. So technically, you can wait for there to be 1 second left and kick a game-winning field goal. They got to hurry up, though. 3, 2, 1, and they did not get the snap off. This one's going to overtime. What is the Royals doing? They should have called timeout, bro. They could have called timeout when 1 second was left. Well, the Lake Hawks fans, you've been saved by the bell in some random way possible. However, Cincinnati will get the ball first. Access, I think you have a bug to fix. As you should have, as normal teams would kick a field goal, wait out the timer and kick a field goal. And if you're about to run out of time to make the snap, call a timeout. I don't understand that logic. Here's Andrews. And, oh, it's intercepted. Chicago might have just won this game. I think they're almost in field goal range as well. They might have just won this game. Pass is caught. Chicago has beaten Cincinnati on a miracle. It is a Chicago miracle. The final score is 20-26, and Chicago will be 3-0, and Cincinnati will be 2-1. What a game! I never would have imagined that that would just happen. Did that just happen? Cincinnati has found a way to lose despite being on the brink of winning. What a game by Chicago, or really both teams, but that mistake at the end by Cincinnati, they should have kicked a field goal to win it. I don't know what they were thinking. They let the clock expire, go into overtime, then they threw a pick at the worst spot of the field. You can't do that in this league. All right, next up is Dallas versus... It is AI Galloway's Dallas Stampede versus Shiggy's St. Louis Racers. If I can get to them. This game is in St. Louis. I don't want it being at a random stadium. Let me look at the weather in St. Louis. What time is it right now? 10:20? Okay, I'm going to set it to clouds. Your game just started just short of the raining side of the game, and you don't want that, so... Here we go. Dallas versus St. Louis. I'm going to go log the scores in for the game that we just hosted. Final score was 20-26 in that game. I don't believe the way that game ended. Well, now we got two XBTV members playing against each other. It's going to be a good one. It's St. Louis and Dallas. I think both of these teams are 1-1 right now. So, by a single point, The Coyotes are now back in second in the AFC North by just 1 point in the point differential scale, while Cincinnati sits in third. Pittsburgh's still in first with a record of 2-0, but they play tonight too. So if they win, we'll see if this holds up after the Pittsburgh game. As I believe Pittsburgh's playing Detroit. And for Chicago, they are now 3-0, just like Winnipeg is. However, they're still in second in the division. Because they're still down by 20 points in the point differential scale against Winnipeg. And if Detroit does find a way to win tonight, the entire NFC North will have a winning record right now. There's a fumble. It is recovered by St. Louis because Dallas, even though they were on top of the ball, still didn't manage to get the ball. How about them Cowboys? Go! No, seriously, what happened? All right, so for Cincinnati, they're obviously going down in the AFC rankings. They're now 2-1. But they're going to be in 6th. So they're still in the wild. So Cincinnati is still in the wild card range. So they still are exempt from the they're still exempt from the play-in round. St. Louis is looking to score on this drive. It's 2nd and 10. He is sacked by the defense, and it's 3rd down. Now let's look for Chicago. They are going to be 3-0, and they're going to be the number 5 spot in the NFC. It's incredible to see teams improve over time. It is 4th down now. So St. Louis is going to kick a field goal to take the initial lead here. And since this is the second game of the night, I do need to set up the GA Cup right now as well, which is something I'd rather do now than later. Today is what? Friday, or tomorrow is Friday, so it's going to be the last day for the first half of the preliminary round. And it's incomplete. Dallas is still trying to get down the field here. And it's going to be a punt from Dallas. Well, if St. Louis wins, Shig will have bragging rights over AI, which Apparently AI Galloway got banned for some reason. I don't know why. Here's a good pass. Shaw's going to get a huge first down for St. Louis. Ooh, it's Modifier Madness coming. I don't know how well the Fortnite Reload's going to do tonight. Oh gosh. Fruits versus Brain Rot's playing tonight in the GA Cup. Why? It's another sack. It's 3rd and 7. St. Louis are going to try to score a touchdown this time against Dallas. As the Racers are trying to leave their... Oh, pass behind. Good pass to Ramos. And he's going to get a first down. And they're going to be an inch away from scoring a touchdown. And that is going to do a touchdown for St. Louis. And it's going to be 10-0 here in St. Louis, Missouri. It might not be St. Louis, Missouri anymore. They might have changed back to Missouri. As so far it's 10-0 right now. St. Louis is so far as far as we've seen so far today, they have been dominating the Dallas offense and defense. And that one's incomplete. All right, let me post these GA Cup matches for... I haven't even checked today's matchups of the GA Cup. I might check that soon. Dallas is... I think that's a first down. And they gave it to them. It's 2nd and 9, end of the first quarter. So far, Shig is up 10-0, if you want to call them Shig. It's really a St. Louis Racers. Here's a pass. It's incomplete. It's 3rd down. And it's going to be a 4th down. And I think Dallas is going to punt. Because I don't know if they're making a 57-yard field goal. And they chose not to, so... And St. Louis is now in control of the ball once again. Dallas has just been struggling to get down the field. It's what it seems like. Their special teams is pretty good. Oh, nice screen to Arnold, and that's a 1st down for the Racers. Here is the Racers. It's a 1st down. Looks like... let's take a look at what the GA Cup looked like today. GTA 4, I think, has beaten Panville Box Fights. Yeah, it looks like the 4th version of GTA is still getting love, despite it being the previous version of the game. And GTA 6 is going to be coming out in November of next year, so a year from now. It'd be season 6 of this YouTube channel at that time. And who knows who's going to be in this schedule by then. Some of the games in the schedule right now could survive, while others might not exist anymore. I mean, well, it really depends. And Mortal Kombat 1 looks like they're going to defeat Tilted Zone Wars. St. Louis is going to punt the ball for the first time. And it lands in the end zone for a touchback. Here is Dallas. They struggled all day on offense. Let's see if they can come up with something this time. They're going to yeet it down the field. It's incomplete. Now it looks like Fortnite Bed Wars is going to beat Borderlands 4. What a crazy upset. Here's Webb to Burton, and it's going to be a good game on this play, but it's 3rd down. They would need to get 4 yards. And looks like they're going to get it here. Here is Dallas. They're going to screen it. It's first down. It's now first down from the 44-yard line. And it's another first down. Now Dallas is on the 39-yard line as their offense is finally starting to get to work here. And here is a no gain play. 2nd and 10. Here's a screen. It's going to be 1 yard. But however, it's third down now. Dallas will need to come up with something that can get 9 yards. Unless they will likely... Here's a pass. It's caught by Diaz. It's a first down. And Dallas is just an inch short of the red zone, is what it seems like. The 2-minute warning is happening. St. Louis still in favor, but only by 3 points. Here's Williams. Caught by Bolin. It could have been intercepted too, but Dallas was not quick enough on that pass. There is some technical difficulties on Twitch right now. Go. Twitch has been having a lot of issues recently. Is what it seems like. Not sure if it's the kilobytes. I'm not sure what it is, but here's Williams. That's a good catch by Arnold. And he jukes the tackle. There's a flag. And it's against St. Louis. It's a hold. That was a good play, too, and it was ruined by one of their own teammates. And now it's 3rd and 11. They're going to run the ball, and it's 4th down. If I was St. Louis, I would let this go into halftime. And they're not going to do that. They're actually going to punt. That's a first down for Dallas. It looks like Dallas is going to get the ball to start the second half. Intercepted. And that is going to be a huge interception. Here's Williams. Caught for... That is a beautiful touchdown. Unbelievable. Bolin walks into the people. At least these fans have different faces. And St. Louis has retaken the lead. Actually, no, they already had the lead. They just extended it to 10. Here is Perry the Platypus. He's going to get 2 yards here. So what is the NFL version of this game? Well, Dallas represents the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm pretty sure that one's obvious. However, what isn't obvious is who St. Louis represents. But believe it or not, they represent the New York Jets. So we have to go to the Cowboys versus the Jets. I'm pretty sure the Cowboys won that. Yeah. It was week 5 in the NFL of this season. As that game happened on October 5th. As the Cowboys won 37-22. Here's Williams to Peters, and it's a 2-yard gain. All right, so St. Louis is going to punt here. Here's Webb to Burton. And Burton's going to get 3 yards. And that's incomplete. That should have been picked. It's 4th down. The kick is no good. How do you miss that? The 47-yarder is no good. That is insane. Okay, let's take a look at... Oh my gosh. So I'm on the X-Axis Football 26 page. Most of it is all... Most of the recent content for this game is all me, man. That's very sad. Well, actually, that's not... Actually, no, it's not, because I upload once every... Almost... I do this 5 times a week, so... if the Access devs are looking at this stuff, let's say that they go on the YouTube page, they're just going to see UAFL, UAFL, UAFL. There's very few. The other videos are just people playing the game in general. Mine's just a sim league. It's saying there's no live content available, yet I'm sitting here streaming Access 26 right now. Are they dumb, bro? Is there something wrong with my stream? Is this not listed as Access 26? It's listed as Access 26. So why is this live stream not on the Access Football page on YouTube? Like, it's not under the game. It's saying no content available. It's not a members only broadcast. Yeah, out of all the recent content available that have came out recently, it seems like for the most popular video, that was from Broly 555 TV, and that was just him playing the game. However, I am the only one who actually has a sim league that gets streamed onto YouTube. Actually, that might change when Dev comes back. I think I still have access to that channel, so I might have to help him with his stuff. Let me click on this video, see what tags he used, in case if he did. So my most popular Access Football video this week, out of the ones that have already happened so far, is where's week 3, day 2? I guess that's not there anymore. Oh no, there's day 2. I meant where's yesterday's? I don't know. So St. Louis is leading 17-10. That just got picked off by Dallas. That's dangerous for them. So yesterday's got 8. Dallas could tie this game. Oh, that was incomplete. There's a pass. It's incomplete. Could have been picked off, though. It's 4th down. Why is there so many leagues called the UAFL? I don't get it. It is a touchdown by Dallas. And now it's a good game. It's 17-all. Both teams are looking to score a game winner. Oh, they got the block. Arnold's on the foot race. And St. Louis is going to regain the lead off of a kickoff return. How about that? I forgot about this guy. Cultural used to be a huge Access Football sim league man. I'm the only one who actually does sim leagues still. I think most of the sim leagues were around because of COVID, but mine and Devs seems to be the only two that exist still. Well, I guess the Super Casual Sim Football League is still there too, but there's a whole bunch of leagues that you can really watch, but there's not too many on YouTube or Twitch. Let me search up the XAFL and let me see if I'm subscribed to them. I should be. Here's Dallas. Deep pass. Caught. Touchdown. And it's a tie game again. Here's Williams to Vega. It's going to be 2nd and 9. Not 1 minute to go until overtime. I don't know why St. Louis is running the ball. They need to pass. There's a minute left in this part of the game. You do not want to turn over, especially where they're at right now. They're going to run it again. 4th down, and St. Louis will have to punt now. I would burn up as much time as possible to prevent Dallas from having a chance to win it with a field goal. And they're not even doing that. So it's up to St. Louis. This is defense to stop Dallas's offense. And let's see who comes up on top. It is 4th down. St. Louis gets a chance to kick a field goal to win it, as the Racers did get the stop. Let's see if St. Louis can chuck it downfield to win this game. It doesn't seem like most teams like to run Hail Marys. None of them are really that successful with it. 10 p.m. now. Let's see what St. Louis does here. It looks like they're going to just let the clock expire. And we are in overtime. All right, Dallas will call heads. It's heads. That means Dallas will be receiving the ball to start overtime. In overtime, you want to receive the ball first, because if you score a touchdown, you automatically win it. I really don't think that should be how the rules work, but don't take this up with me. Take this up with Danny Jugan. That's his idea. Hopefully he changes it at some point. It's a first down for the Dallas Stampede. Dallas could win this game. It seems like whoever wins the coin toss has a history of winning games, except for the last one. I think if we remember correctly, the last game also went into the overtime. This is the second OT game tonight already, and it's first down for Dallas. The Stampede are looking to beat St. Louis in overtime to send St. Louis into panic. And they're just going to do it by running the ball here. It's second down. If Dallas scores a field goal, this game will not end yet. He steps back to pass. Pass is thrown. It's incomplete. It's third down. 3rd and 10. It's starting to look good for St. Louis now. Here's Dallas on 3rd and 10. They're going to run the ball, and it's short. It is 4th down. St. Louis will be getting a chance to either tie this one up or win this game. And here is Dallas from 46 yards out. The kick is good. That means on this drive, St. Louis has to score at least a field goal in order to stay alive in this game. If they score a touchdown, however, they will win the game. So it's not over yet if you're St. Louis. However, they can't turn over the ball. An interception will also end this game. Sacked by the defense. Second down. They're going to run the ball. It's 3rd down. St. Louis has 2 more chances. It seems like Dallas has increased their difficulty to maximum difficulty level at the end of this game. Pass to the right is caught by Arnold. However, it is 4th down. They need 4 yards. Can St. Louis get 4 yards to continue this game for the St. Louis Racers? They're going to go for a pass. Caught by Bullen, and this game will continue. First down. Go! 5 minutes left in OT. Here's the run by St. Louis. It's a gain of 1. And they're on a timer here. If St. Louis does run out of time in overtime, it would also be unfortunate. They're going to run it, and this time they're going to get 7 more yards, and now they are in Dallas territory. Third and 1. Clock is continuing to run here. Pass is caught by Arnold for a first. And it's first down on the 35-yard line. They're going to run the ball to Jordan. 4 more yards. I think St. Louis is now in field goal range, as a field goal from here would be a 48-yard field goal attempt. They're going to pass it to the right. They're going to play it safe. It's third down. If St. Louis does not get the first down, it would likely be a field goal attempt. There's a flag. Incomplete. It is against Dallas, and St. Louis will get another chance. Here's a pass wide open to Bolin for a first down. Dallas is calling timeout here. If you're Dallas, you got to get this stop here. Otherwise, they will lose this game in one of the craziest ways possible. Pass is intercepted by Carr, and Dallas has come up with the stop to win it. Unreal. Wow. What an ending. A.I. Galloway wins it with a game-winning interception with just yards on the line of losing in overtime. What a crazy finish. I just want to say, what a crazy finish of a game. Final score is 27-24. Dallas will win in overtime. That's exactly what you weren't looking for if you were a St. Louis fan. I said you couldn't turn over the ball. You can't do it. They did it. They took the L. All right, next game is Detroit versus the Ziggy's Detroit Firebirds versus Devon's Pittsburgh Ironhawks. All right, we are in Pittsburgh this week. I think that's the first Pittsburgh home game that we've seen all season, right? Okay. Still early in the night. We're like way ahead of schedule. That was crazy game. I don't think this Cincinnati versus Chicago game went into OT, did it? Okay, so the Ironhawks will receive the ball. Oh, wait, I'm not paying attention. Danny Jugan scored on a kickoff return in the first play of the game. Wow. And Pittsburgh already is in the lead against Detroit. I'm sitting here trying to put in the scores from the previous game. And then this happens. And it's now 7-0 already in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And so for St. Louis, the Racers are now 1-2 with a point differential of +4. And that's going to put them in 4th in the AFC East. It's very unfortunate if you're Shig, though. Came all the way down the field just for it to be picked off at the end. There was a huge chance that game was going to be tied as well. And Dallas is one of the few teams that has a winning record, but also has a negative point differential, with it being at -16. And that's caught by Hamilton from Detroit. I'm about to figure out where in the playoff rankings both St. Louis and both St. Louis and both St. Louis and Dallas have. St. Louis is no longer in playoff range after right now. And because of their loss, and Boston moves into playoff range. Boston went from being in last place at the end of week 1 to being in 10th as of right now. And now if you're a Racers fan, you are no longer in the playoff range. As for Dallas, that will put Dallas in playoff range. Dallas's win will put them in the playoff range. And that is going to kick the Arizona Heat out of playoff range. As Dallas becomes the new 10 seed. And here it is, this new drive for Pittsburgh from the 6-yard line. Now let's talk about both of these teams. Starting with the away team. Detroit is currently last place in the NFC North. However, they have a 1-1 record. Only reason they were in last is because they had a huge loss last week. So I don't think I think last week Detroit ended up playing against Cincinnati and lost. And that game was a blowout. It was 20-3. We all know. And currently, if you're a Firebirds fan, you guys are currently in 12th in the NFC, which means they are 2 spots behind a playoff spot, as the top 10 from each conference will make the playoffs. And if Detroit does win, depending on how much they win by, could put them back in playoff range and kick Dallas right back out, despite Dallas winning tonight. However, if Detroit loses, depending on what the loss is, they can be anywhere from 12th to 17th. Really depends on your point differential. They already have a -11, so they would be below teams like Philly, I'm guessing. But if you're playing against the Ironhawks, you're going to need every bit of your team's talent to beat them, because Pittsburgh is such a force that it is going to be nearly impossible to win if a team is not 100% ready. Now let's talk about the Pittsburgh Ironhawks now. They're currently 2-0, unbeaten right now. And they sit in 3rd in the AFC because they're in 1st in the AFC North. They are in the top 4 in the divisional spots. However, they were in 1st at the end of last week because the other 2 teams already played this week. The other 3 teams already played this week. Miami is 3-0, Vegas is 3-0, and Indianapolis is 2-1. And with a win tonight, depending on how much the Ironhawks win by, will determine if they will be in 1st or 2nd inside of the division leader's spot. And that's all dependent on because in order to take 1st, they need to win by at least 15 points. Go. Here's Detroit on 1st and 10, and it's going to be 1st and goal. Here's Knight. He dodges the sack, gets the pass off, and it's incomplete. There's a lot of black and yellow in the stadium, and a touchdown, Detroit. And that's a good field goal by the Firebirds. Now, if Pittsburgh were to lose, here's the interesting part. It really depends. If they lost, if the Ironhawks lose this game, they could still be in first as long as they don't lose by as long as they don't lose by 12 or 11 or 12. Because if they do manage to lose by that amount, if they lose by 11, Cleveland will end up being in Pittsburgh will end up being second, while Cleveland goes up to first. Pass interference against the owners of Axis Football. Also, that avatar is not even what Danny Jugan looks like in real life, by the way.
Tonight. Go!
Apparently, there's a clip on the internet circulating that Pittsburgh managed to get a first down from a quarterback who wasn't even looking at the receiver.
Tonight. Tonight.
It's a first down for Pittsburgh and more. There's going to be some substitutions here. Now, if Pittsburgh were to lose by 12, though, they would actually go down to third in the NFC North. Pass up the middle, caught for a touchdown. That's a good touchdown for the Pittsburgh Ironhawks, and they will take the lead again. And it's looking like it's going to be 14-7. Here is Knight. There's a flag. Ball is thrown. Incomplete. And a penalty is against Pittsburgh. It is 2nd and 4.
Hike. Hike.
That's a tackle for a loss. It's 2nd and 13.
To the hut.
And Garcia gets a first down.
Go.
Here's Knight. Caught by Barnett. Why am I struggling to say a name I already said before? Here's Detroit from, I don't remember. I didn't get to check. 36-yarder is good. That's 10-14 now. So if Pittsburgh doesn't win by at least 15, then Miami will become the new favorites in the UAFL for the AFC. And for the entire league, that would be still San Francisco picked off. Detroit's gonna pick off the ball. Flag. That's gonna be a false start against the Firebirds.
To the hike.
It is 2nd and 15.
Tonight.
Here is Hamilton. And here is Detroit.
Hike.
That's a first down for the Iron Hawks.
Tonight.
First down for Pittsburgh.
Hike.
And that's another first down for the Iron Hawks as well, and that is halftime already. Wow, it's already halftime and it's only 11:43 p.m. Usually halftime happens at least halftime for game 3s happen at 12:30 a.m. We are 45 minutes ahead of schedule. That's actually a good sign because more is better. What is up with this kid? Why did I just find one of his chewed up? Is this what I think it is? Yeah, it is. Because my brother likes to chew on water bottle caps and then just throw them randomly. I cannot believe I just found one in my room. Wow, man, I might as well spit out my gum because I'm done with it. It's a first down for Detroit. And there's a penalty against Pittsburgh. So that's going to lead to another 15 yards after the fact. And Detroit is going to score. And now the Firebirds are in the lead. Here is the Firebirds from after their drive. Pittsburgh's going to return this one. And Danny Jugan almost breaks free again. You got to watch out for him. He has already scored on a kickoff return at the very beginning of this football game.
Tonight. Hike.
First down by Pittsburgh. Ironhawks will pass it. It's incomplete. Here's Daniels with a deep throw. It's incomplete.
Hike.
It's 2nd and 4.
Go.
Pass to the right, incomplete. One player returns, another gets injured. Oh, he's gone for the game.
Sit hut.
Intercepted by the Firebirds. It seems like the underdogs are outsmarting Pittsburgh right now. Or either that or that was just a really terrible throw. I do need to replace my stream overlay because I did change back to my old logo for the UAFL. Here's Hamilton. He's going to get a first down for Detroit.
Go.
And that's a first down.
Tonight.
Oh, that could have been intercepted.
Hike.
Here's 3rd and 8, and he's in for a first down. Crazy run by Garcia, and it's 1st and goal for Detroit. If you don't think any game is game of the week worthy, I think all 3 of the games that we're simulating today so far have been game of the week worthy, and it's a sack. He steps back to pass. Throw is incomplete. It's 3rd down.
Hike.
3rd and goal. He steps to run. Hamilton with some room, and Detroit scores. The Firebirds will take a 10-point lead in Pittsburgh. And it's now going to be Pittsburgh football. They're down by 10 for the first time this week. Here's Daniels. Incomplete. It's 3rd down. If you're a Cleveland fan, you gotta love it. However, Pittsburgh would need to lose by more points if Cleveland wants to retake first in the division, despite the loss this week. Because so far this week, 3 teams from the AFC North have lost, with Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Cleveland all taking a loss this week. Pittsburgh. Oh, wait. Make that 4, because Toronto lost as well, I think. Which means if this team loses, then all 5 teams from the AFC North are to lose this week. Does that make a statement already? Yeah, let's take a recap on that because that's something interesting. So, a recap on that. A recap on the AFC North versus NFC North for this week. First, the Green Bay Axemen defeated the Cleveland Coyotes in overtime on last Saturday. That was a crazy game and a crazy upset by Well, it's not really an upset. Both teams were equally skilled. Penalty against Michael Jugan, and it's a first down for Detroit. So yeah, Cleveland was the first team to lose from the AFC North. Then the second one came when Baltimore lost to Minnesota yesterday. Detroit's going to run this one. It's going to be a 3-yard gain. The next one came. There's a penalty. I'm sorry, the second one came when Toronto lost to Winnipeg. Touchdown Detroit. And now Cleveland can officially be back in first in the division, as Pittsburgh is now getting dominated by Detroit right now. Now, I don't think the AFC North is going to be the best division in the league much longer if they're going to be swept this week by the NFC North. Meaning all 5 teams from the AFC North are going to win against opponents from the AFC North. Can't you believe it? That's Minnesota, Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, and Winnipeg all gaining a win. This is why I call the NFC North the best division in access football. Even Minnesota won last week.
Tonight.
I'll have to find out what will happen now. If Detroit wins by this amount, then all 5 teams from the NFC North will also be in playoff range. That is insane. If the season were to end at this exact second, all 5 teams from the NFC North would make the playoffs. Can't you believe it? It is 4th down. It is the 4th quarter. Devin is going to have some explaining to do on why the Ironhawks haven't been able to produce on offense this week. As they're punting the ball again. They had a good start as well with the first play of the game, but after that, after it was 10-0, they only scored after the second touchdown, they haven't scored since. And it seems like Detroit's going to hand Pittsburgh their first loss of the season in a huge upset. And that's caught. This loss could be even bigger for Pittsburgh much longer. I think they're going to be in 3rd in the division soon. What do you think? They could already be in 3rd. At this rate, they would lose by 16 right now. I mean, they already have a point difference of 16. So if the game ends right now, the Ironhawks will drop to 3rd in the division.
Go.
Here's Hamilton. Touchdown, Detroit. The Ironhawks are trashing Pittsburgh now. And they're hitting the gritty as well. So it's safe to say Pittsburgh is no longer going to be the division leader for the NFC North. As all the teams in the NFC North are going to lose this week. Literally all 5 of them. So what will that mean? This will mean that I guess the division title would be closer than ever because not everyone gets to go to the playoffs, I'm pretty sure. Screen pass, but he steps out of bounds. The point difference is now 24. So Pittsburgh would actually go down to a point differential of just +6. That's a huge gain for Pittsburgh. Yeah, +6 is from +30 to +6 is not what you're looking for if you're an Ironhawks fan. That's a huge chunk of their point differential just destroyed.
Go.
And for Detroit, that could mean big for if you're a Detroit fan. That would take them out of the negatives, which they're currently in the negatives right now. And that would actually get them out of last place in the division as well. It would put them in 4th with a 2-1 record. But even though 4th is the second worst in the division, obviously all 5 of these teams in this division are absolutely amazing. Like, you have Winnipeg being the GOATs of the division. They're 3-0. Chicago's 3-0 as well, in second in that division. Green Bay is currently 3rd with a 2-1 record after a surprise loss in week 2. Minnesota's 2-1 as well, as they won 2 games in a row. To be like that. And finally, now we got Detroit, who's about to be 2-1 as well. It's currently 38-14. This is definitely going to be a blowout, and if Detroit scores much more, I think if Detroit scores 2 more touchdowns, if they do, they would actually be ahead of the Axemen. Unless if they played the Axemen already. I don't know if they have. No. They didn't. So, yeah, it's still possible for Detroit to get 3rd in the division, but I don't even think it matters. Because I think all 5 of these teams in this division could potentially make the playoffs. If they continue to play the way they're playing, at least. I would love to see the NFC North become the division of death as well. That would be crazy. But that's real. And then next season, I think it's going to be a little easier because I think the NFC North will be playing against teams in the AFC East. But let's take a look at who is. But the only challenge from the AFC East that exists is Miami. Miami is really is the best team in the AFC right now. It's a penalty against Detroit. Detroit is set to score again to try to hurt Pittsburgh's point differential even more. Hamilton's running the ball, and it's another Pittsburgh timeout. It's second down. Could they potentially kneel this one out?
Sit hut.
It's third and goal, or it's 3rd and 6. I would only imagine they would score a touchdown. If they get a first down, I'm pretty sure they're just going to kneel it out. What a win for Detroit, coming in as the underdogs. Firebirds fans, rejoice. You have taken down the undefeated Pittsburgh Ironhawks. There's a flag on the field. It's against the defense. It's 3rd and 1. So Detroit's going to go again and try. They're going to try to score again.
Go.
And that is 4th down. Detroit is going to kick a field goal to make it 41. This is a 22-yard field goal. They're going to burn out as much of the clock as they can. There's a flag. It's against the offense. I'm not sure why that has happened. And they're going to kick that. Now they're kicking it from the... Now it's another flag. I don't know what's happening anymore. Now it's a 17. Now it's back to being a... Or it went from a 27 back down to a 22. And the kick is off. And it's good. I'm thinking the final score is going to be 41-14. Detroit came in as an underdog and was expected to lose this game. Boy, did they prove me wrong tonight. Not only did they win this game, they blew out Pittsburgh. And the NFC North has swept the AFC North in week 3 of the season. What an incredible moment for all 5 teams from the NFC North working together to take down the AFC North. Here's Pittsburgh's last play, and that is GG's. Detroit has won the game 41-14. That is a 27-point difference. And that's going to reduce Pittsburgh to just a point differential of +3. Ouch. All right, last game of the night. That was a big game. Our last game is actually going to be between the AFC East versus the NFC East. It is the Boston Whalers versus the New York Barons. Boston's 1-1. New York is 2-0. Friday Night Football has not failed to disappoint. Friday Night Football is probably the best we've seen yet. Okay, so it is currently cloudy. It seems like wind is just non-existent today. No one's getting a wind game tonight, so... Let the games begin. The final game of the night is happening live. It is the AFC East versus the NFC East. And the NFC East is home in this game. And Boston's going to receive the ball. And as soon as that happens, I'm going to put the score line down for the incredible win from Detroit. And Boston's going to start this drive from, it looks like, the 35-yard line. All right, so for a 27-point win for Detroit.
Go.
That puts their point differential to plus 16. And the Firebirds are now back in fourth in the NFC North. All 5 teams have winning records in that division, so it's likely that all 5 of them will make the playoffs now. As of right now, at least. If the season were to end today, they would all be in the playoffs.
Tonight.
You know, if the entire division does make the playoffs, there's probably going to be an NFC North rivalry in the playoffs at least once or twice. Maybe even 4 times. That'd be crazy.
Tonight.
Now for Pittsburgh. I got some bad news for you. You are now in third in the division after losing by 27.
Hike.
that means the Cleveland Coyotes are now back in first in the AFC North. In a weird week. And next week is division week, and I think Pittsburgh is playing Baltimore. Touchdown Boston. I think the Ironhawks play Baltimore next, and Baltimore is known for throwing interceptions as much as they want to. As much as it hurts for me to say that because I'm a Baltimore fan, that is the honest truth. John Matthews is just not ready for this league, and I don't know why we still keep picking him. He is not good. All right, so now for the AFC playoff picture. First off, Pittsburgh is not a division leader anymore, so they are no longer in third in the league in there. And they're actually now in eighth. Actually, no, they're not. So Cleveland moving into first in the division actually benefits Cincinnati as well. Because now, despite the loss from Cincinnati, they're still moving up in the rankings because of Cleveland. And this also benefits Orlando as well, as now the Rockets are in the first round bye section of the wild card. How is Orlando in the first round bye section? Hold on a minute. What? Man, this league makes no sense. This team, I'm pretty sure, this league somehow finds a way to cater to the Rockets. I don't get it. It happens every week or every single season.
Go!
So the Ironhawks, if you're an Ironhawks fan, after that huge loss, they are not only are they no longer in the division leaders spots, they're not in the first round bye section of the playoffs anymore either, as they are currently in seventh, behind just 1 point behind Orlando in point differential. All right, New York's going to kick a field goal.
Tonight.
And it's no good. If Boston does find a way to win, it will be quite interesting. Here's a screen to Price. And the Price is right, as it's a first down. Here's Boston. It's a first down. Now, let me find Detroit real quick. Detroit, before the game, they were...
Go!
1-1 and in 12th in the playoff race. Now, their win puts them over Minnesota.
Set hike.
And they're just behind Vancouver now. Which means that Dallas is no longer in playoff range despite having a winning record. So Dallas is now the only team in this league that if the season were to end today, a team with a winning record would be missing the playoffs. As Detroit is now in 9th and Minnesota's at 10th. Dallas now falls to 11th and is out of playoff range. And Arizona goes down to 12th. However, Arizona plays tomorrow night, so for the final day of week 3 and the final day of quarter number 1 of the regular season of the Ultimate Access Football League.
Go!
Here's New York to Newman, and they're going to get 8 yards here. Let me make a friendly reminder on what games we got tomorrow. On Friday Night Football, we start with the Arizona Heat versus the Denver Mountaineers. Arizona is 1-1 and is in 12th right now. And Denver is 1-1 also, but however, they're in 8th. It's a penalty against the Barons. The second game tomorrow night is going to be the Montreal Terrapins versus the the Montreal Terrapins versus the Buffalo Grizzlies. And for those two teams, Montreal is in first in the NFC East and is third overall. And for Buffalo, they're in 9th in the AFC with a 1-1 record.
Set hut.
And for the third game, it is two teams that haven't had a lot of success this season so far. The Mexico City Jaguars versus the Houston Bombers. Houston had no success at all this season so far, as Houston is 0-2. They were in last place at the end of week 2 after their historical loss. It was it was a big blowout. I don't remember by how much, but I gotta find it. Oh, it wasn't a blowout. It was only 23-12. I'm guessing I'm thinking of week 1. No, not even that one. I guess it was a 20-point loss. However, Houston does have a minus 31 point differential. However, Toronto's is much worse right now after 3 games. It's minus 43. First down, Boston. And as for Mexico City, They're currently first in their division despite being 1-1. Meaning if they lose, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a team with a losing record being first in their division. Again, I think the NFC South sucks. I'm sorry. They're the opposite of the NFC North. I think in week 1, all 5 of them lost. So they have pulled off exactly the opposite of what the NFC North just did. And next week is week 4, which is a division week, which means most of the teams will be playing against division rivals. Fourth down, as Boston couldn't get there. Now, there's going to be a few games that are not going to be your division rivals because there are technically 5 teams in each division, so it's not possible for all 5 of them to play each other. It's only possible for 4 different teams to play against another member of their division per division week. So every week, the rest of them will just be playing a opponent from the opposite conference. And what next week looks like for week 4, there's a big game between Minnesota and Green Bay. Houston would be taking on Indianapolis. Louisiana would be up against Mexico City, and Kansas City would be up against Vancouver on Saturday. Seattle would be playing Los Angeles. St. Louis against Boston. Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. That's one of the bigger rivalries there. Ottawa versus Washington.
Hike.
New York versus Montreal. Toronto versus Cincinnati. Tennessee versus Carolina. Edmonton versus Nebraska. Chicago versus Detroit.
Set hike.
Orlando versus Calgary. Atlanta versus Oklahoma City. Las Vegas versus Denver. Arizona versus San Francisco. Miami versus Buffalo.
Set hike.
Philadelphia versus Dallas. Winnipeg, and finally Winnipeg versus Cleveland. So the Coyotes do have a tough opponent in so for the AFC North versus NFC North series, though, there is one game in that series taking place next week, and that's going to be the
Set hut.
Cleveland Coyotes versus the Winnipeg Devil Cats. For second down for New York.
Hike.
And sacked by the defense, third down. Boston is looking a lot better of a team than they did at the start of this season. They got shut out by Baltimore, and that says a lot. It's 4th down now. The Barons are going to kick a field goal. This is going to be a routine 20-yard field goal.
Sit hut.
And it's good. Whalers get the ball next.
Hike.
Here's a screen. It's caught by Holloway. 2-minute warning here in the first half. It's only 12:30 right now. So this game, this entire stream might end at 1 a.m., which is usually 1 a.m. is usually when the 4th game starts. Because normally these would end at 2 a.m.
Sit hike. Sit hut. Sit hike.
And it's incomplete.
Sit hike.
Here's Jacobs. Incomplete.
Hike.
And it's going to be a punt from Boston. We're just not able to make it happen in this drive.
Oh.
Here's Potter. 1st down, New York.
Hike.
That's caught by Nash. Timeout, New York.
Hike.
And it's another 1st down for the Barons. Barons are using their timeouts, though, because they're running out of time. Here's a touchdown for the Barons. Touchdown, New York.
Hike.
Here's a sack.
Hike.
Here's Jacobs. He throws it out of bounds.
Sit hut.
And that is the end of the half. Tie game so far, and we're about to reach the final half of the game.
Hike.
And that's another first for New York.
Sit hut. Hike.
Incomplete.
Sit hike. Hike.
Here's a punt that lands on the 10-yard line, or the 6-yard line, sorry.
Sit hut.
New York is going to throw. It's incomplete. Or, sorry, Boston's going to throw.
Sit hut. Go.
There's a pass that's caught by Moore, and Moore can go more yards. And it is first down for the Whalers. It's second down.
Sit hut.
Here's Jacobs with the throw. It's incomplete. It's third down.
Sit hike.
Here's Jacobs, and he's going to throw it, and it is incomplete. It's fourth down. It's going to be a 40-yard field goal attempt. And no good. Hits the post. It's no good. And Boston has missed out on their opportunity to take the lead here. We've seen a fair share of no good field goals today, haven't we?
Sit hike.
Here's Harry Potter. Throws it to a wide open man. It drops it. Second down.
Sit hike.
Here's Burke. He's going to get a bunch of yards on this play.
Go.
And it's fourth down.
Sit hike.
And New York will punt this one away. Neither team able to score anything in this half so far. Both teams' defenses have held their ground so far in this game.
Sit hut. Hut hut.
Here is an interception. And the Barons have picked off the ball in a good spot. So many players are getting injured right now as well. Here's Potter. Throws it downfield. This one is caught by Hunt. That's a 35-yard gain on this play here. And New York is in scoring position again. Here's Schultz, and it's short. 2nd and 1.
Hike.
Quick pass, caught, touchdown, New York. And the Barons are once again back in front. Oh, Boston's going to get a good field position. They're going to start on the 40.
Set hut.
Second down.
Set hike. Hike.
Here's Jacobs. Throws it to Stewart. And Boston will punt this one.
Set hut. Hike.
Barron's going to run it to Burke.
Set hike.
All right. It is the fourth quarter of this game. Hunt has the ball. If New York wins this game, they will retake first in the NFC East. For now. Because Montreal hasn't played this week yet. However, though, they would need to win by more than 7 points for that to happen. They would need to win by at least 11. Huge catch by Owens for a huge first down. It's 1st and 6.
Set hike.
Potter's going to get a yard. 5 yards to go.
Sit hut.
And what? That's counted as a touchdown. It looked like he ran out of bounds before he stepped in bounds. Like he was clearly behind the pylon and they rolled it a touchdown. And now New York has a 14-point lead. Did you ever think you would ever see a time where the New York Barons are going to start this season 3-0? No, I didn't. But is it going to happen? Well, as long as New York holds on, they can. New York being unbeaten is quite a surprise because this franchise used to be really bad.
Sit hut.
And the Whalers being 1-2 is also a surprise because we're all used to them being good.
Hut hut. Select.
Here is the Barons. They have the ball again, as Boston couldn't get anywhere. I think if Boston loses here, they're going to be going down the 4th in the division. Here's Cooper with a reception. It's 1st and 10.
Hike. Hike.
Here is Burke. He's got a 1st down. And New York might score again before this game ends. I think the Barons are actually going to be 3-0. It's a sight that you would never expect to see. That is a catch by... What a catch by Owens. 1st and goal.
Go.
Here's Potter. Up the middle. Incomplete. Here's Potter, and he is going to get nowhere. He's going to get stuffed here. It's 3rd and 6. Quick pass, wide open, touchdown, New York. And now the Barons are leading by 21. Now it's starting to get big for the Barons. I think the Barons might be a Access Cup contender. I mean, in Access 24, they were playoff contenders, but now this team is an Access Cup contender, meaning the Barons could potentially win themselves an Access Cup if they manage to take down even tougher teams. Boston isn't really the toughest in the AFC East, but wait till New York challenges Miami. That will be happening this season. Here's Jacobs. It's a first down for Boston. And the Whalers call a timeout. Incomplete. It is now 1 a.m. here in Maryland. First down, Boston. Boston might get a score back.
Sit hut.
Flag. It is against New York.
Hike.
That is a weird throw. That could have been picked off. There's a flag. It is against the Whalers this time. It's 1st and goal from the 11-yard line. And it's incomplete. Jacobs, it's caught for a touchdown. And Boston will get a score back. It's now 17-31. Fans are chanting New York. And the 4th and 12 is going to be a redo, except it's 4th and 7 instead. Here's a pass. It's caught, and the Whalers have converted. First down for Boston. Here's a pass. It's incomplete. Whalers are going to try to make their way down the field. They're down by 14. This game isn't over yet. Boston continues to make their way down the field. The Whalers have used their last timeout, so they're going to need to score on this drive without turning over the ball and then score again to tie it. Here's Stewart for first.
Hike.
Here's a pass. It's caught by Price. And there's a flag. It's going to be first and goal from the New York 0-yard line. Oh, they're going to mark it first and inches. That's what that is.
Go.
And touchdown Boston. And they are now only 7 points behind New York now.
Hike.
Oh, maybe not. The PAT is no good. They will be 8 points behind New York. That's the first PAT that I've ever seen get missed. That might come back to haunt Boston, but here's a 4th and 12 conversion attempt. No good. And New York will win this football game. And the Barons are 3-0 for the first time in franchise history.
Hike.
I don't believe it. The Barons are back on top. It's going to be an 8-point win for New York. So their overall rating is now plus 15.
Hike.
And they're 3-0. How do you get flagged on a kneel? And for Boston,
Hike.
well, now their rating is minus 21, and they are now in 4th in the AFC East. And that is GG's from New York. The Barons retake the NFC East, while the Whalers free fall continues. And the Whalers, well, they're no longer in playoff range. And St. Louis re-enters the playoff range. Boston is now 1-2 and is currently in 14th in the AFC now after their loss to New York. And as for the Barons, they just took the division. So now they're 3-0. And the Terrapins will respawn tomorrow. As Montreal is now in 5th. I'm sorry, Montreal is actually in 6th. I'm sorry. I want to say that is an incredible game. And that is going to do it for the Ultimate Access Football League tonight. We got one more game coming, or one more stream for the UAFL coming tomorrow before Week 3 ends and Week 4 begins. And that's going to do it here. Thanks for watching. And I will see you guys tomorrow night for Friday Night Football.